Good morning and welcome back to my channel. This morning I look a little crazy starting the vlog because I just went to the gym and I just took my hair tie out of my hair, so I look a little bit crazy, a little bit red in the face, but that's normal. Today is the big day. Today is the day that I get my hair fixed. So I've been washing the heck out of my hair and I feel like you can kind of tell where my blonde was going up to, like kind of right here, and then this was all my natural color. We're getting that fixed today, so I'm very excited. I thought I would bring you guys along. I actually took like the whole day off today because I'm doing my hair in the afternoon, so it was kind of like just weird to go to work just in the morning, and I was like, might as well just take the whole day off, enjoy my day off, and like do a little bit of tidying around the apartment. I need to go to Costco, you know, I've just got some things to do. So first thing on the agenda is taking a shower because I am so sweaty. I'm disgusting and I need to wash myself. And then I'm gonna make celery juice, and I thought I would show you guys how I do it. It's really not that complicated, but I've been drinking celery juice for 2-3 weeks maybe. I did do like 1 week off in between because I didn't have any more celery and I didn't bother going out to buy any, but I actually really like taking it in the morning. I feel like it makes my skin more glowy and it doesn't really taste that bad. It doesn't taste like super good, but it doesn't taste bad. So yeah, I've been drinking that for a few weeks and I'm gonna make some more this morning. So I'll bring you guys along for that too. I'll show you guys how I make it. And yeah, I'm gonna go take a shower right now and I'll update you guys in a bit when I'm making my celery juice. Okay, we're in my kitchen in the usual spot and let's make some celery juice. So the only thing you need is celery and water, but I like adding cucumber. So for my recipe you need celery, cucumber, and water. Don't make a huge batch. Like after a week it's not good anymore, so don't make a huge batch. I made that mistake, and like the second week it just tasted really weird. My stomach felt weird the first time that I drank it and I just concluded that it was no longer good. So just make like a small batch for like a week, I'd say. I think for me personally a week is fine. Like after 5 to 7 days it's still okay, but like past that 7 days it's just like pushing it. Just throw it out at that point, you know. So most important part is to wash your veggies really well. I'm actually just gonna use 1 cucumber, but I'm gonna wash all of them obviously. And then for the celery, I'm not gonna use it all. I'm gonna use half maybe or something like that. I'm not sure. I know exactly how much I need to make. I just don't know how much celery I need to make it. So first things first, wash your veggies. Okay, so I don't personally have a juicer, so I just use my NutriBullet and I strain the juice twice to make sure that I get any excess like little chunks out, because I don't want to be drinking the chunks. That's just gross. So yeah, since I don't have a juicer, that's how I do it. So if you don't have a juicer, you can definitely still make this at home. So don't need to buy that whole fancy juicer machine. Also, it's a lot easier to clean these things up than it is the juicer, from what I've heard. Juicers are very complicated to wash. So what I do when I make it is I make it in batches. Obviously, like my thing is not big enough. My NutriBullet is not big enough to make it in like a whole one batch. So I pour it into this, and then from this container, I strain it a second time into their respective containers. I do typically one like glass container like this, and then I'll do, I don't have it right now, but there's one of the NutriBullets that I just use, like the cup, I use that and I just screw on the top and I put that in the fridge. It's just easier to pour that way. So that's how much I make for like 1 week. So let's start making this green juice. So I do very big chunks, as you can tell. Like this is a pretty big chunk of cucumber. It's going in the blender, so I don't need to like chop it really fine. And then for the celery, I don't use these. I actually cut these off and I put them in the freezer because these are really good in soup if you're making soup. So I don't put them in. You can if you want. I just don't. That's just my preference, and I like using it in soup, so I'd rather have it in my soup than in my celery juice. So I'm gonna continue cutting my things, and then I'll show you like how I like measure, I guess, with the water. Okay, so I put about this much of celery. I just fill it up. Honestly, I eyeball all of this. There's really no measurements that need to be done. I put as much cucumber as I want, and I'm thinking I'm gonna cut up another cucumber, not a whole cucumber, but like half of it, because the cucumbers that I usually get are a little bit bigger than that. So I feel like I'm not gonna have enough cucumber. I'm also thinking I might use the whole celery because it just feels like it was small. I typically do this twice, so yeah, I'm probably gonna use the whole celery. So once I've put my celery, I put some cucumber in there, and then I fill it up with water. Like when I say fill it up, I mean like you cover it to the top, sort of. Just don't bring it too high up because I've had it explode also while I was blending it, and that's not ideal. So just like cover it up with water. I'll show you what I mean. So this is how much water I put in, because if I put it any higher, it's gonna literally explode when I'm blending it, and that's just not a fun mess to pick up. So I'm gonna blend this. I'll show you guys what it looks like when it's all blended, and then I'll show you what it looks like after it's been strained. Okay, so this is what it looks like once it's strained. You can tell that it's very, very like thick, and that's why we strain it, because we don't want to be drinking this thick juice that it just made. So I'm gonna strain this, and then I'll show you what it looks like once it's strained. Okay, so this is what we're working with. So we've got the celery juice right here that was strained once, and then this is all the like gunk that's in it, all this celery like chunks and cucumber chunks. So that's why we really want to strain it, because that's just like not what we want to be drinking. So yeah, that's what the celery juice and like the other part looks like. And then typically I strain it twice just to make sure that it's really well strained. If I had a juicer, like it would be like juice, it wouldn't have any chunks in it, so I wouldn't have that problem, and I want it to be as close as possible to like juice with no chunks. I'm a huge like no chunks, like even in orange juice, like no pulp, that kind of stuff, like, or no extra pulp. A little bit of pulp is fine, but extra pulp is just gross. So yeah, I'm gonna do the rest of my celery juice, and then I'm gonna put it away, and then I'll show you what it looks like in my glass, so you guys can get a better idea of what it like actually looks like. Okay, so I'm done making my green juice. I actually put everything away because I made a huge mess. But this is what it looks like. Just pretty plain, simple green juice. I put a straw in it. Just prefer drinking it through a straw. Now it's actually like room temperature right now because I just made it, but typically it would be cold, and I do prefer it cold, but I don't want to add ice to it. I just don't feel like doing that. So I'm gonna drink this. I'm gonna make breakfast, and I need to charge my battery because it is dying. So I'm gonna do that while I make breakfast. You guys have seen my breakfast like a million times anyway, so I don't need to show that to you guys. It's nothing new. And I'll talk to you guys in a bit once my battery is charged. You guys, I'm back. I'm back to blonde. Oh my god. I'm in the car right now and I'm driving, but we're at a red light, so I thought I would show you guys my hair. Honestly, I got to cleaning up the whole apartment and I left like 5 minutes late to my appointment, so I did not have time to vlog for you guys. So I'm really sorry about that. But yeah, I'm back to blonde and I'm obsessed. I'm very, very happy with it. It turned out really, really good. So anyways, my light is gonna be green. I just wanted to show you guys my hair. Okay, we're back home and here we are, fully back to blonde, and I feel like myself again. I feel like me. I'm very happy with it. I'm so sorry I didn't vlog before going. I think I explained it to you guys in the car, but I just ended up running late, so I just did not have time to vlog whatsoever. But now we're back home. It's 4 o'clock and I'm starving because I didn't eat lunch, but I don't want to like eat anything because I'm probably gonna make dinner soon. But we usually typically eat around like 6:37, so I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm gonna have to figure it out. But I do want to sit down and talk to you guys about the books that I've been reading. I have book reviews for you guys and I'm very, very excited to share, and I'm excited to hear your opinions if you've read the books, or yeah, I'm just really excited. So I'm gonna sit down in a second and we're gonna talk books together. Okay, so I took my tripod out so that I could do a little book review for you guys. I've got 3 books that I read last week and I'm very excited to share these books with you guys, and some of you might have already read them, but I just thought I would share still and just give you like my honest opinion on the books. Now, I've only got 2 of them with me right now. I actually loaned one of them to my mom for her to loan to my sister so that she could read it. But yeah, that one book that I loaned is Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. You guys, it is so freaking good. And I honestly wanted to cry at the end because it was such a beautiful story. Like, it wasn't really sad. Like, it kind of is, but it's not. I feel like all of her books hold a certain sadness to them, but they're still like such beautiful stories. So yeah, that's how I felt when I finished reading it. I felt like very, very heavy, and I was like overwhelmed by the book itself, but it was so good and I just could not stop reading it. I just wanted to continue reading it, which is why I read it so fast. I read it in 3 days, which is really quick. I've never read a book in 3 days ever. And then after that I got like these 3 books first. So I got Ugly Love, then I got Maybe Someday, and I also got The Deal. So Maybe Someday is from Colleen Hoover, and then The Deal is from Elle Kennedy. So I read this one second because I really loved how Colleen Hoover wrote her first book that I read, The Ugly Love. I thought it was such a beautiful story, so I read Maybe Someday. And just to give like an honest review on Ugly Love, I would 1000% recommend you read it. Like, if you don't know where to start with all the Colleen Hoover books, because a lot of people are recommending a whole bunch of them, start with Ugly Love. It is so freaking good. I'm obsessed with that story. It was such a beautiful story, and there's like just it's just beautiful. So definitely recommend. Then I read Maybe Someday because, like I said, I just thought it was written so beautifully, the first one, that I was like, this one is definitely going to be written in a similar style, which it is, and it's really good. But honestly, I just did not like get into it that much, not as much as I did with Ugly Love. This one I didn't feel attached to it as much as I did with Ugly Love. It was still like a beautiful story, and it was very, very easy to read. I read it in 3 days also, but I don't know, I just couldn't get into it. So I would give this one like a 7.5 out of 10. I just feel like she has so many better books, but it was still like a beautiful story. I feel like it was really, really well written and beautiful, and I really did like it. I just didn't get into it as much as I did with Ugly Love, so that's why I'm giving it a 7.5 out of 10. Still recommend this one, but get Ugly Love instead. It's so much better. And then The Deal, I finished reading yesterday, and it was so good, you guys. It was so good. Okay, so like, I don't want to spoil anything, and this isn't really spoiling, but basically this book is about like a hockey player who needs help getting his GPA back up. So he asks one of the girls in his class to help him bring his GPA back up. And basically this guy lives with 3 other roommates. So the 3 next books after this one is each of the roommates' story, and they kind of follow each other. So like, this one ends and then the next one starts when this one ends, and it's about one of the roommates, which I think is very interesting. And then there's the last one, the 5th book, is like those stories but in the future after college life, which I think is so interesting. So I finished it yesterday. I honestly didn't know how much I was gonna like it. I just thought it was gonna be really, really cliche, and I wasn't sure if there was actually any more, like if this was a series or not. And you don't have to read it in a series. It reads really, really well without being a series. Like, you don't have to keep reading the other ones. I feel like this ends really well and you have closure at the end. You don't need to continue reading the other ones. But now that I found out that there is a series, and I actually absolutely love this one, I got the other 4 books, and they're coming in the mail tomorrow, so I'm very, very excited. Also, I was able to read the first 2 chapters of the next one because they put it in this book, so I was able to do that, which was very exciting. I'm very, very, very excited to read the next book. And right now I'm reading Confess. I don't have it with me, it's on the couch. I'm gonna go get it. Okay, so the next time that I went at the library, I grabbed Confess, I grabbed It Ends With Us, which was the first one that I grabbed, and November 9th. And I had originally wanted to start with It Ends With Us, but I was reading The Deal and I found out that they had other books for The Deal, and I was very, very invested in that one book, and I really wanted to read the other one. So I decided I would read either this one or this one, so Confess or November 9th. And then I would go on to the Off-Campus series from Elle Kennedy, and then I would go to It Ends With Us, and then I would read like whichever I hadn't read after that. So I'm reading Confess right now. My plan is to finish it by tomorrow, or not by tomorrow because I just like literally just started it. I want to finish it tomorrow. Ideally I would want to finish it tomorrow or like Saturday morning so that I can start the next one because it's arriving tomorrow. And honestly, I've just read 3.5 chapters, but I'm having trouble getting into this book. I feel like there's something missing, and it might be coming further along in the story. I've only read 3.5 chapters, so like don't take this opinion like too seriously, like take it with a grain of salt. So I'm excited to see how it goes because the back cover like really did seem interesting, so I'm not getting as much into it again, like kind of like the Maybe Someday when I read it. I just wasn't getting into it as much. I did eventually like get into it, but not 100%, and I don't know that I'm gonna get 100% into this one either. It's not because it's bad, I just feel like I guess I don't relate too much, or I don't know how to describe it. I'm not as obsessed with this storyline or something like that. I guess it's that. There's nothing wrong with the book itself. Like I said, Maybe Someday was really, really good. But I just didn't get into it. And this is the same thing with this one. And then I saw a lot of people read November 9th, so I'm excited to see this one. It seems like a very interesting storyline, and it seems like it happens over a lot of years. I think it's always like on November 9th of each year. I think that's how the book goes. And then it ends with Us, which was supposed to be the one that I would read like after the deal. I've talked to like my mom about it because she read it, or she listened to the audiobook of it, and I don't think I'm ready to read it yet because I feel like this is going to be a very intense storyline, and I just want to read like the Deal and Off Campus series first because I'm already into it. So I'm gonna wait, and then I'm gonna read this one, and then there's a second one coming out in October for this one, so it's gonna be interesting. Anyways, that's like my book review. I've been talking for 10 minutes. Hopefully you guys don't have 10 minutes of footage of me talking, but yeah, that's my book review. I'm really getting into reading books, and I'm having so much fun, and so far like I've read really great books, and it's just so much fun. I love going to the library or like the bookstore and finding a new book to read, and even Alex has gotten into reading, which is so much fun. So yeah, right now I'm reading Confess, and I'll let you guys know how it is once I finish it. Also, I have like there's like paintings in it, which I think is really cool. You guys can't see them all, but like they put paintings in here, which I think is really cool. I'll do another update once I'm done reading these books. Also, I'll give you an update on the Off Campus series because I really do think it's gonna be amazing. But like I said, the Deal itself is so good. I would just recommend going with this one. I really do feel that you can read each book individually, but the Deal, so good. Very cliche, but so good. Also, I'm obsessed with my blonde. I'm so happy that I went back to blonde. That other color that my hair was, that was just not working, so very happy that I'm back to blonde.